Today I'm attempting to break the Minecraft FPS world record, but there's a problem. Some other YouTubers like Guinea, NotroDan and MCBYT have already tried this challenge whilst competing against each other, and I'm going to try to beat them all. If I do, I might have the highest FPS ever recorded in Minecraft. The current record is 21,632 FPS by NotroDan. That is a huge number, so I'm going to need a pretty good PC to be able to beat it. The specs I'm going to be using are a 5070 Ti paired with a 5800 X3D and 32GB of RAM. Hopefully it will be enough for the record. Starting off in vanilla Minecraft with no mods. In a regular world we are seeing an average of about 850 FPS. That's not too bad, but it's nowhere near the record. We need to do better. The next thing I needed to do is figure out the best Minecraft version. I started off by testing every single Minecraft version to see which one had the best performance. I ended up being stuck between 1.7.10 and 1.8.9. The best total performance was from 1.7.10, but there wasn't as much support, so finding mods and performance upgrades for this version could be an issue. Whereas 1.8.9 is the most popular version for PvP and servers, so naturally it has way bigger support. I think for now I'm going to use 1.7.10, and if we run into any issues I can change it later. So now that I got my version, I need to decide whether I want to use a client like Luna Client or use Forge and have full customization on what mods I want to use. Let's compare them. Starting off with Forge and a couple performance mods, I'm getting about 1200 FPS. That is a decent increase from our starting number of 850, but we can still do better. Now let's try Luna. On Luna Client, I'm getting roughly 1800 FPS, which is far better than Forge, and we are now over double what we started with by only changing two things. I still haven't tweaked my Minecraft settings. I have all of the fancy graphics settings turned on, smooth lighting, and every particle effect enabled. Now that they're all turned off, I can do one more thing. I'm going to make a custom super flat world with only the void, so there's no blocks, trees or mobs taking up all of our FPS. Let's test our FPS now that we have all of the settings tweaked and we're in our void world. Just by changing those few settings and making this new world, we are scraping 6,000 FPS. That is an insane increase, and we are definitely on track to be the new record holder. Before I move on, I want to try one more thing. I found a texture pack with 0 textures on it, and it even makes the UI invisible. So hopefully I can squeeze a few extra FPS out of my PC with this. Okay, that didn't really make much of a difference. I gained about 75 FPS, but hey, everything counts. I think I've done everything possible in Minecraft to increase my FPS, so now it's time to do some performance tweaks to my PC. I started off by closing every single app and process that was running in the background of my PC, stealing my resources. I also deleted every single file that was stored in my PC's temp folder. I then manually changed a few Windows settings that I knew would help my performance. With the help of a tool created by Chris Titus Tech, I could really minimize every single background process and get my PC feeling fresh. I ran through all of his essential and advanced tweaks before moving on to only allowing security updates to stop Windows from adding more bloat to my PC. I then installed Hone and manually enabled all of the tweaks that would help me get that top spot on the leaderboard. I had to be careful though, as some of these optimizations can literally break my PC. And the final thing I did was overclock my GPU and CPU. I started off by boosting the memory and core clock speeds, just enough so that it was stable, but would give me the most FPS. I also changed my fan curve so that my GPU would stay cool the whole time, stopping it from thermal throttling. And for my CPU, I also did a slight overclock to really squeeze everything out of my hardware. I also changed the setting in my BIOS, allowing my CPU and GPU to communicate better, called resizable bar. Now that we've done all that, let's see how much FPS we've gained. I really hope it's worth it, as that literally took forever. Let's go! We are now at about 11,000 FPS. That's crazy. We've come a long way since the start when we had 850 FPS. But we're only about halfway there though, and I'm running out of ideas. Hopefully the next thing that I have planned will get us a bit closer. That 11,000 FPS that we hit was in 1440p, which is a really high resolution, so we need to make it smaller. I can lower my resolution all the way down to 600 by 800, which is nearly 8 times smaller than what it was. This just looks ridiculous, bro. I also unplugged my monitor and all the other useless things that I have plugged into my PC. Goodbye. Wait, I think that's my mouse. Now that we're back in Minecraft, let's see what we get. 14,000 FPS. We gained 3,000 FPS just from that. A few hours went past and I really had nothing left. Until I realised something. I've been using this same Windows installation for the last 4 years. It's slowed down quite a lot since I first started using it, and I've been wanting a fresh start anyways. So I did some research on the best operating systems, and I kept seeing people suggest Linux over Windows. But I'm nowhere near that much of a nerd, so I wasn't even going to attempt it. I found out that I can actually make my own custom version of Windows. So for a couple hours I was trying to make the most minimal, performance focused operating system that would help me break the record. Well guys, there's no going back now. Everything feels so responsive. It's like 10 times quicker than what my old crappy Windows was. Before doing one last test, I wanted to stop using OBS and record on my phone because I record in a really high bitrate and resolution, so it would be hurting my FPS. It's basically now or never. Hopefully this new OS has given us enough power to boost our FPS to the record. Let's see. 21,359 FPS. Are you joking? We were so close. We're under 300 FPS of having the new record. I've got to try again. Hopefully the next time I press this button it will be above the record. Oh my god, finally! 26,000 FPS. We've absolutely smashed the record, beating it by over 5,000 FPS. We've actually done it. Finally, after hours and hours of optimizing my PC and draining everything out of it, we've done it. Yeah, don't sound too happy. All of that was for nothing. There was actually a new record, posted 3 months ago by MCBYT that I somehow missed. However, I wasn't going to let that slide. The record will still be mine. I hopped back on my PC, did a couple more optimizations, loaded up Luna Client, and instead of using the F3 menu, because it actually makes my FPS way worse, which I didn't know about until the end of the video, I turned on the FPS counter and sat there pressing F1 until this happened. No way! Over 32,000 FPS. I've been here for so long. There's no way anyone's going to be able to beat my record now. Ladies and gentlemen, we got it. There we go guys, we finally did it. It might have taken multiple days and multiple hours, but it was fun trying to beat this challenge. We ended up beating MCBYT and his record by 3,500 FPS. And our end result was 32,575. To think we started with 850 and now somehow got nearly 40 times more is crazy. Fair play to Notre Dame, Guinea and MCBYT for also doing this challenge, as it's really hard. But now I challenge you all to try beat my record and see how far we can push it next time. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.